Welcome to the Let Your Voice Be Heard, the 5-day challenge, where each and every day we're going to be sprinting. What's a sprint? A sprint is a burst of energy. That's all we're going to do. Let's get into it. Every great speaker drops gems or nuggets. So here is your first nugget. The late Bob Proctor says that change is inevitable, but that personal development is a choice. So what are you going to decide to do? So let's talk about becoming a master speaker using the S.I.N.G Method. The acronym is S.I.N.G Method. Let's go. Have you ever been to a meeting or anywhere and the opening snatched you right out your seat? You were thinking about looking at your phone, but the opening, whether they sang or they said a quote or just the tonality of their voice, they had a strong opening. The first word is S in S.I.N.G. It stands for strong opening. Consider starting your talk with a personal story or snippet from your story. Now remember, when you're telling a story, there's a way to tell a story, particularly if it's one that's close to your heart. But think about a story that is compelling and it's a great opening. Next up in the acronym of S.I.N.G is the I. It's for intellect. Dial into their intellect, bring them into the story by saying, think of a time or remember when you, but bring them into the story because this is where you're getting ready to get into your key points. Your key points. Time for some more gems. This is where you can drop a data point. Like 1 in every 3 Americans or 50,000 women or some data point that is relevant to your talk. When you give someone some statistical data, because remember, you're talking to all types of learners, but no matter what the learner, data is received, and particularly when it's one that causes you to think. All right, here is what I'm talking about. Props. Never be on a stage without a prop. You can have props unless it specifically says no props. Bring props. Dr. Delatoro, he brings an entire motorcycle on the stage because it's part of his talk, it's part of his strategy, it's part of his methodology. So bring your props. Everyone likes visuals. I've heard it said, never speak unless you're making a point, and always make a point when you're speaking. This is no different. Make sure those key takeaways are driven home. Make them throughout your talk, but reiterate them right about here. Go back again and say, again, these are those key points. Make sure you drive them home. Time for another quote. You could do a quote. You can do another data point. I have quite a few go-tos. I love to talk about Dr. Les Brown says that many of us are not living our dreams because we are so busy living our fears. The N in nodding and smiling, which is the N in S.I.N.G, the acronym, is nodding and smiling. You want your audience to be nodding in agreement and smiling in understanding, or laughter, but you want them nodding and smiling in nodding. Participation is key. If you want to be known as a great speaker, get people to do things. You want your audience to be engaged and activated. Participation is key. Write that down. Write that down. It's go home or go hard. Make sure that you close just as strong as you did open. Make sure you have a call to action. Make them feel good. Make them feel inspired. Make them feel changed. Transform their minds. But do it with power. So let's recap. The S is strong opening. The I is to tap into their intellect. The N is nodding and smiling. You want them nodding and smiling. And the G is go hard or go home.